in January last year, after a lump was removed from my back, we saw the oncologist, and the oncologist said, there are now 15 lesions in your lung, vertebrae, and on your liver. Well, that was a little bit of a hit to the chin. And then eventually we said to him, okay, so what does this mean? He said, if you don't get the appropriate treatment, then you might make Easter. Easter was then 13 weeks away. And then he said, if you're very lucky, you might make June. Well, we eventually got the appropriate treatment, and we've been through the process. And at this particular point, we have lived through these 14 months. Well, on Tuesday, we went to the oncologist following a further PET scan last week. And guess what? The cancer has gone. There's not a sign of any cancerous activity anywhere. And in practical terms, I'm now in remission. God deserves all the glory for that. But I also need to perhaps share with you the other side of the story. Now, at no stage during the 15 months have I ever felt ill. Have I ever had any side effects? Yes, to be fair, I was not on chemotherapy. I was on immunotherapy, which is a totally different way of doing things. But all along, I saw God's hand, or I heard his words, or whatever. And that's what I think I would love to leave you with. I basically gave this a title. I said, Medical Science Confirms God's Word. And for that, I need to go back to Sunday, the 9th of August. Bev and I were on duty. I was standing at the back. First of all, I'm not sure who was leading worship, but we carried on singing that. It has the words, what God has started, he will complete. And this went on and on and on, and eventually it got into my thick skull. And then standing at the back there, I took Bev outside and I said, and I'm going to try and read this to you. Clear as a bell, I heard the words in my head. Don't worry about whether you get the approval for the CT scan. I was waiting for approval from Momentum because the cancer is gone. Can I say that again? 9th of August, the cancer is gone. So for over 7 months, I've carried on living in the belief, can I say the belief, that what God said, he's honored and he's done. Medical science took 7 months to catch up. And in fact, in September last year, I was asked to participate in writing a little article for the Momentum magazine. And I finished it off, and I'm going to read this. This was written in September. The journey is not yet complete, but I have great hope for what's ahead and the future. And that is now being confirmed by medicine. But I want to just finish it off. There are 3 things I need to say. First of all, when God says something to you, remember he lives outside time. We live inside time. So when God said to me, it's gone, he knew it had gone, but I didn't know it had gone because I was still going. And that often is where we get very frustrated because God says something clearly, but it's not happening. So we have to learn to be patient. Secondly, I need to say some thanks. And that is, no journey like this is complete by yourself. You can't walk it by yourself. So I need to just say thank you, first of all, to my wife. It'll be 57 years we've been married at the end of next month. To the 40 odd families who were in receipt of my broadcast. I didn't make it a chat show. I didn't want all their comments. I just wanted them to know. And then I need to say to you that broadcast group is so important. Their prayers undoubtedly helped, and I've walked that in the knowledge that others are walking with me. And I use the picture of a comrade second. The runner has to run the race, but the second is the one who meets him periodically, encourages him, kicks his behind, rubs his legs, feeds him, and is there at the end to applaud him when he gets his medal. And then I want to just finish this off by saying, as an encouragement to some of you, if I use the analogy or the picture of Tony Campolo's sermon, you may be living in a Friday. Everything may have fallen down around you. But with Easter coming, Easter's next week, Easter for me this year is going to be special. If you're living in a Friday, remember, Sunday is coming.